The British Isles, a tapestry of rolling hills, rugged coastlines and fertile valleys, have been shaped by millennia of geological and climatic forces. Severed from mainland Europe by the rising seas after the last ice age, this island realm developed a unique character, its destiny forever tied to the waters that surrounded it. Early inhabitants, drawn by the promise of new lands and abundant resources, navigated these waters, leaving behind tantalizing glimpses into their lives. Stonehenge, a monument of colossal scale and enigmatic purpose, stands as a testament to their ingenuity and connection to the cosmos. These early Britons, often referred to as Celts, were not a monolithic group, but rather a collection of tribes with shared cultural and linguistic roots. They lived in a world steeped in myth and legend, their lives governed by the rhythms of nature and the wisdom of their ancestors. However, the relative isolation of the British Isles could not last forever. The allure of new lands and the ambitions of empire would soon draw the gaze of a rising power from the South Rome. In 55 BC, Julius Caesar, the ambitious general of Rome, led 2 expeditions to Britain, seeking to expand his empire's reach and secure its northern frontier. Though his incursions were ultimately repelled, they marked the beginning of Rome's enduring fascination with this island realm. Almost a century later, in 43 AD, Emperor Claudius ordered a full-scale invasion determined to bring Britannia under Roman rule. The legions landed, their standards held high, and clashed with fierce Celtic resistance, most notably from the Iceni tribe led by the warrior Queen Boudica. Despite initial setbacks, Roman might eventually prevail. Britannia became a province of the Roman Empire, its people introduced to Roman law, technology, and culture. Cities sprang up, connected by a network of roads that crisscrossed the land, facilitating trade and communication. The legacy of Rome's 4 centuries of rule would prove to be profound. Even after the legions departed in the 5th century AD, their mark remained etched upon the landscape, language, and institutions of Britain, a testament to the enduring impact of this ancient superpower. As the Roman Empire waned in the west, so too did its hold on Britannia. The once mighty legions that had patrolled the borders and kept the peace were now being recalled to defend the heart of the empire, leaving Britannia vulnerable and exposed. The legions, recalled to defend a crumbling heartland, left a power vacuum that was quickly filled by new arrivals from across the North Sea: the Angles, Saxons, and Jutes. These tribes saw an opportunity in the chaos, a chance to find new lands and establish their own dominions. These Germanic tribes, hailing from present-day Denmark and northern Germany, came not as conquerors in a single wave, but as settlers, gradually establishing their own kingdoms and carving out territories from the remnants of Roman Britain. They brought with them their own ways of life, their own traditions and their own gods. The Anglo-Saxons, as they became known, brought with them their own languages, customs and beliefs, which gradually intertwined with the existing Romano-British culture. This blending of cultures was not always peaceful, but over time it led to a unique fusion that would shape the future of the island. This fusion gave rise to a new identity, one that would form the bedrock of what would become England. The landscape of early medieval England was dotted with small communities, each with its own local leader, but all sharing a common heritage that was beginning to take root. Their arrival marked the beginning of a new chapter in the island's history, a period of both conflict and cultural exchange. The Anglo-Saxon kingdoms were often at war with each other, but they also traded, intermarried, and learned from one another, creating a rich tapestry of cultural interaction. The Anglo-Saxon kingdoms vied for power, their stories told in epic poems and sagas that celebrated the deeds of warriors and kings. These tales, passed down through generations, became the foundation of a shared cultural memory, a way for the Anglo-Saxons to understand their past and their place in the world. But the Anglo-Saxons would soon face a new challenge, one that would test their resilience and forge their destiny in fire and blood: the Vikings. The Viking raids began as small-scale attacks but soon grew into full-scale invasions, threatening to overwhelm the fledgling Anglo-Saxon kingdoms. The struggle against the Vikings would become a defining moment in the history of England, a time of great heroism and great suffering as the Anglo-Saxons fought to defend their homes and their way of life. The Viking threat forced the Anglo-Saxon kingdoms to unite in ways they had never done before. Leaders like King Alfred the Great emerged, rallying the people and forging alliances to resist the invaders. The battles were fierce and the stakes were high, but through determination and ingenuity, the Anglo-Saxons managed to hold their ground. King Alfred's efforts to fortify towns, build a navy, and promote learning and culture laid the groundwork for a more unified and resilient England. His legacy would be felt for generations as the Anglo-Saxon identity continued to evolve and strengthen in the face of adversity. The period of Anglo-Saxon rule was a time of transformation, where the seeds of modern England were sown. It was a time of great challenges and great achievements, as the people of the island forged a new identity that would endure through the centuries. Today, the legacy of the Anglo-Saxons can still be seen in the language, laws, and cultural traditions of England. Their story is a testament to the resilience and adaptability of a people who, in the face of great change, managed to create a lasting and influential civilization. The year 1066 stands as a pivotal moment in English history, a year that witnessed the dramatic and decisive Norman conquest. This event was not just a simple change of rulers, but a profound transformation that would leave an indelible mark on the fabric of English society, culture, and governance. The Norman conquest was a turning point that reshaped the destiny of England in ways that are still evident today. William, Duke of Normandy, claimed the English throne by right of conquest, defeating the Anglo-Saxon king Harold Godwinson at the Battle of Hastings. This battle, fought on October 14, 1066, was a brutal and decisive conflict that saw the end of Anglo-Saxon dominance and the rise of Norman power. William's claim to the throne was based on a promise allegedly made by the previous king, Edward the Confessor, and his victory at Hastings solidified his position as the new ruler of England. This momentous battle, depicted in vivid detail on the Bayeux tapestry, marked the end of Anglo-Saxon rule and the beginning of a new era for England, one dominated by Norman influence. The tapestry, an extraordinary piece of medieval art, provides a visual narrative of the events leading up to and including the Battle of Hastings. It shows the preparation, the fierce combat, and the ultimate victory of the Normans, capturing the drama and significance of this historic event. William, known as the Conqueror, wasted no time in consolidating his power, establishing a new feudal order and imposing his will upon the conquered land. He redistributed land to his Norman followers, displacing the Anglo-Saxon nobility and creating a new ruling class loyal to him. This reorganization of land ownership laid the foundation for the feudal system in England, where loyalty and military service were exchanged for land and protection. The Norman conquest had a profound and lasting impact on English society. It wasn't just the ruling elite that changed, the very structure of society was transformed. The Normans brought with them new customs, laws, and administrative practices that would gradually permeate all levels of English society. The introduction of the Domesday Book, a comprehensive survey of land and property, exemplified the Normans' meticulous approach to governance and control. The Norman French language became the language of the court and the elite, influencing the development of the English language. This linguistic shift created a divide between the ruling class and the common people, who continued to speak Anglo-Saxon. Over time, the blending of these languages would give rise to Middle English, a precursor to the modern English we speak today, while Anglo-Saxon was relegated to the lower classes. This division was not just linguistic, but also cultural and social, as the Normans imposed their own customs and traditions on the conquered population. The common people, however, retained many of their Anglo-Saxon ways, leading to a gradual blending of cultures over the centuries. This linguistic divide would gradually fade over time, but its influence can still be seen in the rich tapestry of modern English. The vocabulary, grammar, and syntax of English today bear the marks of this historical blending, with many words of Norman French origin becoming an integral part of the language. The evolution of English is a testament to the enduring impact of the Norman conquest. Beyond language, the Normans introduced new architectural styles, legal systems, and social structures. The construction of imposing stone castles, such as the Tower of London, symbolized Norman authority and provided strongholds for maintaining control over the land. The introduction of Norman law and order helped to centralize and strengthen the governance of England, laying the groundwork for the development of the English legal system, transforming the political and cultural landscape of England. The Normans brought with them a new sense of organization and administration, which helped to unify the country under a more centralized authority. This transformation was not without resistance, but over time, the Norman influence became deeply embedded in the political and cultural fabric of England. The Norman conquest was not merely a change of rulers, it was a wholesale reshaping of English society. The changes brought about by the Normans affected every aspect of life, from the way land was owned and governed to the language spoken and the architecture that defined the landscape. The legacy of the Norman conquest is a testament to the profound and lasting impact that this pivotal event had on the history of England. The medieval period, spanning centuries after the Norman conquest, was a time of both great upheaval and remarkable achievement. This era, often romanticized for its chivalry and grandeur, was also marked by significant social, political, and economic transformations that would shape the future of England and the world. England witnessed the rise of powerful monarchs, the expansion of royal authority, and the seeds of parliamentary democracy. The royal courts were bustling with activity, where decisions that would impact the entire realm were made. Monarchs like Henry II and Richard the Lionheart left indelible marks on the history of England, each contributing to the evolving landscape of governance and law. In 1215, King John, facing down a rebellion by his barons, was forced to sign the Magna Carta, a document that would become one of the most significant in English history. The Magna Carta was not just a peace treaty, it was a revolutionary step towards limiting the power of the monarchy and laying the groundwork for modern democracy. This charter limited royal power and guaranteed certain rights and liberties to the English people. It established principles that would echo through the ages, such as the idea that no one, not even the king, is above the law. The Magna Carta also introduced the concept of due process, ensuring that justice was not arbitrary but based on established laws and procedures. This landmark document would become a cornerstone of English common law and a symbol of individual rights and freedoms. Its influence extended far beyond England, inspiring legal systems and democratic movements around the world. The Magna Carta's legacy is a testament to the enduring power of the written word in shaping human history. The 14th century brought with it a new and devastating challenge, the Black Death. This catastrophic event would leave an indelible mark on the medieval world, altering the course of history in profound ways. The Black Death, a bubonic plague, spread rapidly across Europe, carried by fleas that infested rats, and it decimated populations wherever it struck. This bubonic plague, spread by fleas carried by rats, swept across Europe, killing millions and leaving a trail of devastation in its wake. The sheer scale of the mortality was unprecedented, with some estimates suggesting that up to half of Europe's population perished. The social and economic impacts were equally staggering, as communities were left in disarray and labor shortages transformed the feudal system. England was not spared from its grip, with entire villages wiped out and the social order thrown into disarray. The Black Death led to a dramatic shift in the balance of power between the peasantry and the nobility, as the scarcity of labor gave surviving workers more bargaining power. This period of turmoil also saw the rise of new religious and philosophical ideas as people sought to make sense of the suffering and loss. Despite the horrors of the Black Death, England emerged from the medieval period with a strengthened sense of national identity. The resilience of its people and the adaptability of its institutions allowed England to recover and rebuild. The crisis had forced innovations in agriculture, trade and governance, setting the stage for future growth and prosperity and a growing awareness of its place on the European stage. England's interactions with neighbouring countries through trade and diplomacy became more sophisticated, laying the groundwork for its future as a global power. The experiences of the medieval period, both the triumphs and the tragedies, had forged a nation ready to take on the challenges of the Renaissance and beyond. The seeds of future greatness had been sown, ready to blossom in the centuries to come. The medieval period, with all its complexities and contradictions, was a time of profound transformation. It was an era that laid the foundations for modern England, a testament to the enduring spirit of a people who, despite facing immense challenges, continued to strive for a better future.